All right, Mike. Well, thank you for your time, first and foremost. But a lot of talk about Nashville 2.0, so let's just get into it. I mean, we saw the list of changes that came out with the roster decision. Is this a full-on rebuild, you would say, at this point?
It's, most teams, I used to use this quote from Alex Ferguson. He said, no matter how good your group is, in most cases, you probably have to rotate your group, maybe every 4 years. And, it's probably something that needed to happen. I think when you have a team that is going to the playoffs and competing for League's Cup, the idea of breaking things up, you want to kind of be able to kind of see it together and give guys a chance kind of to keep doing what they're doing. But the reality is you need to kind of have an influx and infusion of new talent, of younger talent. And you saw it this past season with BJ. Multiple occasions, he had 3 U22s in the field with Patrick Gazbek and Julian Gaines, Johnny Perez. And the reality is that any good team is doing that. So for us, whether it's in year 6 or year 5, it's just something that has to happen.
A couple of guys I just want to ask you about because they've been with Nashville SC since the start of MLS, and that is Anunga and Anibal Godoy, who both I thought had a pretty good season overall, but their options weren't picked up. Can you go into those decisions a little bit?
Yeah, look, I remember last year, talking about the idea about guys like Dax McCarty and what happened with them, and to me, I try to be very matter of fact and treat it like just business as usual. But the reality is, did nothing wrong, but just get older. So someone like Anibal is my favorite player I've ever worked with. And he's done nothing wrong other than just he's 5 years older than we first got him. So I think he's a tremendous leader. He's helped our club so much, and I think the reality is, that I think if he had not gotten 5 years older, he would still get a chance to keep doing what he's doing. In Brian's case, he's also been in the club 5 years, and just in the right time for him to kind of get a chance to get more of an opportunity and do that elsewhere.
And you're obviously going to bring in more guys to replace those guys and others, and you said you work year-round, right? So I guess can you go into a little bit of what is the difference between getting a player for BJ Callaghan than it was getting a player for Gary Smith?
Rather than talk about like the previous managers, what they did or didn't do, everyone's different, and like I mentioned earlier, we had a clear picture of the game model we wanted to play with, and the reference I've used a couple of times is like Brentford beats Liverpool 1-0. Brentford fans are very excited. If Liverpool beats Brentford 1-0, Liverpool fans are up in arms. They only won 1-0. And I think, in our first 4 seasons, we were able to grind out results against anybody. I think for us, we want to be more expansive, and we think we want to have a model and more sustainable. And, that's something that helped us in identifying who the next manager was. And, for us, knowing that we wanted to play a certain style and BJ was a manager, we need to find the right kind of players that fit that. And, because of that game model, what BJ's doing, we have to take inventory of the guys we're looking at and get an idea of which guys we think can do that and which guys can't. It's less based on like what BJ wants and more about like how our game model's evolving, and ultimately there are guys who will be able to do that and kind of keep moving forward, and there are guys who won't, and they just won't be able to part of the group.
And for you as a general manager who's been in this league for a long time now, is it a little bit exciting now that you get to build a little bit of a different team than what you're used to, I guess?
Honestly, probably since 2019, it's been the most exciting it's been. When I think about the opportunity we have to evolve and grow and change the personnel we have as our model changes. So I think it's been an exciting time for Nashville SC fans, and for me, it's super exciting.
And how quick are you expecting success, I guess, with this new sort of 2.0 persona?
We talk about how we're going to define success, and for us, we want to be sustainable from the standpoint that we're always competing and pursuing cups. And in our first 4 seasons, we were over a line each year, and we were in the playoffs. I think for us, not only do we want to continue to kind of get back to doing that consistently, we want to pursue silverware. We want to go for it, and to do that, we need to have the right kind of players, the right kind of game model, and I think it's a process. I say all the time, I think an outcome is just simply wins and losses. The process is how you win, how you go about doing that. And I think we have the right process in place, and whether it's 2 matches, 2 months, or 2 seasons, we're really excited about the direction we're going.
One last one, and I'll let you go. But do you feel like there's more pressure on the club now than there was maybe a couple of years ago when it was still building up with the new stadium and new everything? Now that it's all on the field, do you feel like there's more pressure?
Pressure is self-imposed. I think you put it on yourself, and it's how you respond to that. I think that, with expectations, I think each year you get in the postseason, people expect more and more. For me, no one expects more of that than I do, so I don't feel any more pressure than I put on myself. But I think the reality is, we want to be somewhere where there's expectations of pursuing championships, So for us, whether it's it's changed or heightened, that's no different than it's always been from our standpoint.
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it.
All right, thanks.
Have a good one, man.
Take care.
Yep.